Have you ever felt like someone was pulling your strings without you even realizing it? Like you were making decisions that weren't really yours? What I'm about to share with you might make you question every conversation, every relationship, and every decision you've made in the past month. Dark psychology. It's the study of the human condition as it relates to the psychological nature of people to prey upon others. And whether you realize it or not, do you encounter these tactics every single day? In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to break down 10 dark psychology tactics that manipulators use to control, influence, and dominate others. And more importantly, I'll show you how to recognize them and protect yourself. But before we dive in, if you're interested in understanding human behavior and protecting yourself from manipulation, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you'll want to catch every video we release. Let's get into it. Tactic number 1, gaslighting. Let's start with one of the most insidious tactics out there, gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where someone makes you question your own reality, memory, or perceptions. The term actually comes from a 1944 film called Gaslight, where a husband manipulates his wife into thinking she's going insane. Here's how it works in real life. Someone says something hurtful to you. When you confront them, they respond with, "I never said that, you're remembering it wrong," or "You're being too sensitive," or the classic, "You're crazy, that never happened." Over time, this makes you doubt your own perception of reality. You start thinking, maybe I am too sensitive, maybe I did misremember. The gaslighter's goal, to make you dependent on their version of reality, to make you question yourself so much that you stop trusting your own judgment. And red flags of gaslighting. Constant denial of things they clearly said or did. Trivializing your feelings. Using phrases like, "You're imagining things." Making you feel confused after every conversation. Isolating you from others who might validate your reality. Protection strategy. Trust your gut. Document conversations. Seek external validation from trusted friends or therapists. And, most importantly, if someone consistently makes you question your sanity, that's your cue to distance yourself. Tactic number 2. Love bombing. Now let's talk about something that feels amazing at first, but is actually a major red flag. Love bombing. Love bombing is when someone showers you with excessive affection, attention, gifts, and flattery right from the start. We're talking constant texting, grand romantic gestures, talking about the future together after just a few dates. But wait, you might be thinking, isn't that just someone being really into you? Here's the difference. Genuine affection is consistent and respects boundaries. Love bombing is overwhelming, rushes intimacy, and ignores your need for space. It's too much, too soon, too fast. The manipulator uses love bombing to create intense emotional dependency. They make you feel like you've found your soulmate, like this is a once-in-a-lifetime connection. And then, once you're hooked, the behavior changes dramatically. This is when the devaluation phase begins. The same person who couldn't get enough of you suddenly becomes critical, distant, or even cruel. And because you experience such intense love at the beginning, you'll do anything to get back to that feeling. This creates a trauma bond. You become addicted to the highs while enduring the lows. Protection strategy. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. Healthy relationships develop gradually. Be wary of anyone who seems obsessed with you before they really know you. And never ignore red flags just because someone is giving you intense attention. Tactic number 3. Triangulation. Tactic number 3 is particularly cruel. Triangulation. Triangulation is when a manipulator brings a third person into the dynamic to create jealousy, insecurity, or competition. Here's a classic example. Your partner constantly mentions their ex, talks about how attractive a coworker is, or compares you to other people. Or in a workplace setting, a manager might say things like, well, Sarah never complains about this project, or your colleague finished this in half the time. The goal, to keep you off balance and insecure, to make you feel like you need to compete for their approval or attention. But the manipulators use triangulation to maintain control through jealousy, avoid taking responsibility by blaming the third party, create drama and chaos, keep you working for their validation. Common triangulation phrases: my ex never had a problem with this. Everyone else thinks you're overreacting. I was just talking to name once and they said, constantly mentioning someone you're meant to compete with protection strategy. Recognize that healthy relationships don't involve competition or constant comparisons. Don't engage with the triangulation. Set firm boundaries. And if someone consistently makes you feel like you're in competition with others, consider whether that relationship serves you. Teen tactic number 4, intermittent reinforcement. This next one is straight from behavioral psychology and it's devastatingly effective. Intermittent reinforcement. You know how slot machines keep people hooked? It's not by paying out every time. It's by paying out unpredictably. The randomness creates addiction. Manipulators use the exact same principle in relationships and social dynamics. Here's how it works. They give you attention, affection, or approval, but inconsistently. Sometimes they're warm and loving, sometimes they're cold and distant. You never know which version you're going to get. This creates a powerful psychological hook. Your brain becomes obsessed with figuring out the pattern. You start analyzing everything you did. What did I do differently when they were nice to me? How can I get them to be that way again? This unpredictability triggers dopamine release in your brain the same way gambling does. And just like gambling, it becomes addictive. A protection strategy. Pay attention to consistency. Healthy relationships have a baseline of respect and care that doesn't wildly fluctuate. If you find yourself constantly trying to earn someone's good treatment, you're probably dealing with intermittent reinforcement. The solution? Stop playing the game, demand consistency, or walk away. Tactic number 5. Projection. Let's talk about projection because once you spot this one, you'll see it everywhere. And projection is when someone accuses you of the exact behavior they're guilty of. It's a psychological defense mechanism where people take their own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or behaviors and attribute them to someone else. Two classic examples. A cheater constantly accuses their partner of cheating. A liar calls everyone else dishonest. Someone who's controlling accuses you of being controlling. A manipulator tells you that you're manipulative. Here's why this is so effective. It puts you on the defensive. Instead of addressing their behavior, you're now defending yourself against false accusations. They've successfully shifted the focus away from what they're doing wrong. And then here's the really twisted part. Sometimes the projection is so convincing that you actually start believing it. You think, maybe I am jealous, maybe I am the problem. According to Freud at Modern Psychology, the projection serves several purposes for the manipulator. Protects their ego from uncomfortable truths about themselves, avoids accountability for their actions, controls the narrative, makes you doubt yourself. Protection strategy. When someone accuses you of something out of nowhere, especially something they might be guilty of themselves, don't automatically go on the defensive. Take a step back and ask yourself, who does this accusation really describe? Often, the projection tells you more about them than it does about you. Tactic number 6, isolation. This tactic is one of the most dangerous because it cuts off your support system, isolation. Isolation is when a manipulator systematically separates you from friends, family, and other support systems. And it doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, subtle, and often disguised as love or concern. Here's how it typically unfolds. Phase 1. They express dislike for your friends or family. I don't think they're good for you. They don't really appreciate you like I do. Phase 2. They create conflict or drama whenever you spend time with others. They get upset, start fights, or give you the silent treatment. Phase 3. They monopolize your time. Every free moment should be spent with them. Other relationships are framed as betrayals. Phase 4. They convince you that they're the only one who truly understands you, supports you, or cares about you. But why do manipulators isolate their victims? Because isolated people are easier to control. Without outside perspectives, you have no one to reality check the manipulator's behavior. No one to tell you, hey, this isn't normal, this isn't okay. Red flags of isolation. Criticizing your friends and family. Demanding to know where you are at all times. Getting jealous of time spent with others. Making you feel guilty for maintaining other relationships. Gradually cutting you off from activities you used to enjoy. Protection strategy. Maintain your relationships no matter what. If someone truly loves you, they'll encourage your other connections, not destroy them. Set firm boundaries around your independence. If you notice you've been gradually pulling away from everyone except one person, that's a massive red flag. Tactic number 7. The silent treatment. Now let's discuss a tactic that's often dismissed as childish, but is actually a form of emotional abuse. The silent treatment. The silent treatment is when someone withdraws all communication and attention as a form of punishment. They shut you out completely, leaving you confused, anxious, and desperate to fix whatever you supposedly did wrong. And here's what makes this so damaging. Research shows that social rejection activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Your brain literally processes the silent treatment as a threat to your survival. The manipulator knows this, whether consciously or unconsciously, and they use your discomfort to assert dominance and control, avoid accountability for their own behavior, punish you for setting boundaries or disagreeing with them, make you anxious and submissive. Here's the difference between the silent treatment and healthy space. Healthy space. I need some time to cool down. Let's talk about this tomorrow when we're both calmer. Silent treatment, complete communication, shut down with no explanation, no timeline, and no resolution. Just cold, punishing silence designed to make you suffer. Victims of the silent treatment often find themselves desperately apologizing for things they didn't even do, just to get the person to talk to them again. This trains you to avoid conflict, suppress your needs, and accept poor treatment. Protection strategy. Recognize that healthy people communicate even during conflict. They don't weaponize silence. If someone repeatedly uses the silent treatment, don't chase them, and set a boundary. I'm happy to give you space, but I won't engage with punishment through silence. When you're ready to communicate respectfully, I'm here. And mean it. Tactic. Number 8. Moving the goalposts. This tactic will leave you feeling like you can never do enough. Moving the goalposts. Moving the goalposts is when someone constantly changes the rules, standards, or expectations so that you can never succeed or satisfy them. Every time you meet their demands, they add new ones. Here's a real-life example. Boss, if you finish this project by Friday, you'll get that promotion. You work day and night and finish by Friday. Boss, great job. Now, if you can also handle the Johnson account and improve the team's numbers by 20%, then we'll talk about that promotion. or in relationships. If you just dressed differently, I'd be happy. You change your style. If you just spent more time with me, I'd be happy. You cancel plans with friends. And if you just stopped being so sensitive about my comments, I'd be happy. See the pattern? The truth is, the manipulator never intends to be satisfied. The goal isn't actually achievement, it's control. They keep you in a constant state of striving, proving, and trying to be good enough. This tactic is particularly effective because it exploits your desire to succeed, to be approved of, to be valued. You think, if I just do this one more thing, then they'll appreciate me. Protection strategy. Recognize that reasonable goals are clear, consistent, and achievable. If you notice a pattern of constantly shifting expectations, call it out. Ask for specific, measurable criteria in writing. And if someone refuses to acknowledge when you've met their stated expectations, accept that you're dealing with someone who will never be satisfied and adjust your approach accordingly. Tactic. Number 9, playing the victim. This next tactic is especially manipulative because it turns the tables completely, playing the victim. Playing the victim is when someone who's actually the aggressor or wrongdoer positions themselves as the injured party. They twist the narrative so that they're always the victim and you're always the villain. You confront them about hurtful behavior. How could you attack me like this after everything I've done for you? You're so cruel. You set a boundary. You're abandoning me in my time of need. You don't care about me at all. You catch them in a lie. I only lied because you make me so anxious. Or this is your fault. This tactic is incredibly effective because it makes you feel guilty for having legitimate concerns, shifts focus from their behavior to your attack, positions them as someone who needs protection, often even from you, prevents any real accountability or change. Professional victim players often have a few tells. They're always the victim in every story they tell. Every ex was crazy or abusive. Every former friend betrayed them. They never take responsibility for relationship problems. The manipulator uses victimhood as both a shield and a sword. It protects them from consequences while attacking your credibility and making you the bad guy. Protection strategy. Don't fall for the emotional manipulation. Stay focused on the actual issue. Try saying something like, I hear that you're upset, but we still need to address the original issue. If someone consistently uses victimhood to avoid accountability, recognize that you're dealing with a manipulator. And here's a harsh truth. If everyone in someone's past was supposedly toxic, the common denominator might actually be them. Tactic number 10. Love withdrawal. Our final tactic is particularly painful. Love withdrawal, also called conditional love. Love withdrawal is when someone gives or removes affection, approval, or love based on your compliance with their wishes. Their love isn't freely given, it's a reward system. Here's how it plays out. When you do what they want, warmth, affection, praise, attention. When you displease them, coldness, distance, disapproval, emotional abandonment. This creates a devastating dynamic where you're constantly performing to earn love that should be unconditional. You learn that your worth is based on meeting someone else's standards and expectations. At examples, a parent who only shows affection when a child achieves certain grades. A partner who becomes distant when you don't agree with them. A friend who only values you when you're useful to them. A boss who only recognizes your worth when you're overperforming. This tactic is particularly insidious in romantic relationships and family dynamics because we're wired to seek love and belonging from these connections. When that love is conditional, it creates deep insecurity and anxiety. You start thinking, oh, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this? What do they need from me to love me again? Protection strategy. understand that healthy love doesn't disappear when you disagree or make a mistake. Real love has a consistent baseline of respect, care, and commitment. If someone's affection fluctuates wildly based on your compliance, you're experiencing conditional love, not real connection. Set boundaries, demand consistency, and remember, you deserve love that doesn't require constant performance. So there you have it. 10 dark psychology tactics that manipulators use to control, influence, and dominate others. 1. Gaslighting. 2. Love bombing. 3. Triangulation. 4. Intermittent reinforcement. 5. Projection. 6. Isolation. 7. The silent treatment. 8. Moving the goalposts. 9. Playing the victim. 10. Love withdrawal. Now here's what I want you to remember. Knowledge is power. The fact that you now recognize these tactics makes you significantly less vulnerable to them. But awareness alone isn't enough. You need to act on what you know. Key protection strategies: trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Maintain your support system. Don't let anyone isolate you from people who care about you. Document patterns. Keep records of conversations and behaviors. It's harder to gaslight someone who has receipts. Set firm boundaries, and be prepared to enforce them, even if it means walking away. Seek professional help if you're in a manipulative relationship. Therapists who specialize in abuse and manipulation can be invaluable. And remember, you are not responsible for fixing, healing, or changing a manipulator. That's not your job. Your job is to protect yourself and your well-being. If this video helped you, do me a favor, share it with someone who might need to hear this. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more content on psychology, manipulation, and human behavior. And drop a comment letting me know which tactic surprised you most. The comment section is a judgment-free zone. If you've experienced any of these tactics, you're not alone, and you're definitely not crazy. Stay aware, stay protected, and remember, understanding the darkness is the first step toward the light. I'll see you in the next video.